Hey guys, welcome to our new segment. We're gonna call it Vape and Vaping. I've got Akash here, and he's from the distro. He's one of the big distributors here in Kitchener. And you can introduce yourself to the folks.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Akash. I'm from the distro, and we've been helping support vape shops across Canada, mainly in the Kitchener area, for the last 4 years. So I'm honored to be one of your first guests. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions and essentially just related to the vaping industry in general. So tell me how you got started.
Yeah.
What got you into the vaping game?
So honestly, we started at Conestoga, right?
Yeah.
So just across the street there, where me and a couple of my friends, we were in an entrepreneurship kind of program.
Okay.
And the project that we had was that we had to come up with a fake company. But we had to get all the logistics in order. We had to contact suppliers, get cost pricing, get a sort of product ready without having the product.
Okay.
And the people that I worked with, the group that we worked with, we all vaped, right? I personally, I didn't vape that much, but the other group members, they did. And we decided to go with vape juice. I think it was 2015 or 2016 at the time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it was really early in the game.
Yeah.
And we contacted Divine Labs, which is a laboratory in Lindsay, Ontario, and they make e-liquid for dozens of companies. And we contacted them. We asked them, if we want to come up with a line, and we actually ended up getting some samples from them.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we told them, like, this is a project. We're not actually serious about this.
Yeah.
But they wanted to help us out and kind of give us a little idea of how the business works.
Okay, yeah.
And he gave us, Joel is the vice president there, I spoke to him. He gave us some fantastic ideas on how to start up and how to get into the business. He sent us over some samples, like I said.
Yeah.
And honestly, after that, we took the samples and we took them to a couple vape shops in Kitchener-Waterloo, right? Just to kind of see what people would think, right? And after that, a few orders, like UC Vapes and then Waterloo Vapes, they placed an order with us.
Oh wow. Okay.
And because I think they were just local, I think they were just humbled by the fact that these college kids were trying to get into the game.
Fair, right? They're trying to show you your support as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it was just like new in the industry, and like there was big players like 12 Monkeys and like a few other players, but it wasn't a huge game like it is now.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. It was very small. You could barely find like the bottle bigger than 60 mLs.
Exactly.
Right?
There were 30 ml glass bottles.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, like we had some unique concept. We started off with a company called 519 Vapes, which we named after famous streets in the Waterloo area.
Oh, okay.
So we figured, like, if we're targeting the Waterloo area, somebody comes into a vape shop and they see their street or a similar street, right? They're like, oh, that's kind of cool. We'll grab it.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, so it kind of worked, and we just kind of grew off of that.
I see. So now, when you guys were doing like the samples and stuff for your juice, did you guys come up with a couple flavors, or did they kind of just send you a bunch of stuff and just say like, this is good stuff? Or
so we had ideas for a couple flavors. So like I think we started off with like a milk chocolate, a white freezy, a blue raspberry, a bubble gum, and then a peach. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So like kind of staple flavors.
Yeah.
Nothing too complicated, but we asked them, if they could kind of come up with something.
100%, yeah.
To this day, to be honest with you, I never asked if they were white label juices or if they just had the juices kind of waiting, or if they made them custom for us. I never asked.
Okay, yeah.
But going forward from there, our next line was in-house. Like we produced the recipes in-house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit more unique in that sense.
I see. So what's kind of like the process that you take when you're making an in-house line? Like, are you making the juice and testing it and kind of perfecting it in that sense, or?
Yeah, so typically we come up with an idea, like a little bit of a concept, where like we want like a watermelon cherry, right, for example. And if we want a watermelon cherry, it's essentially we come up with one base recipe, which we somewhat enjoy, or we try out, and we're like, there's potential here.
Yeah.
And as long as there is potential, we kind of make around 5 or 6 versions of that on the same day.
Oh, okay.
So we produce, a version that has 2%, watermelon, or 3% watermelon, or 5% watermelon, and then we adjust the recipe based off of that, what we think would work well.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, we give it a couple days to steep.
Yeah.
And then we try it out. right? Yeah. And then we basically just kind of determine which version is better, and then we again start the process again, and then take that base and kind of adjust it slightly until it just gets better and better.
You get that perfect flavor in the end, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a bit of a process. I think our cherry bomb took around 4 or 5 months to produce.
Oh wow. Okay,
so like there's definitely, because you have to wait for a couple of days to steep.
And that's fair too, yeah.
So like I think just even 4 batches takes a month, right?
Oh, okay,
so
wow,
that's the thing, right?
Yeah. And for those of you guys who don't know what steeping is, it's essentially you create the bottle of juice, you add all the flavorings and everything, and then you have to let it sit for a while, just so you get that kind of full flavor out of it. Now, moving on, this is going to be some more questions about like the distribution game and everything like that. So when you're choosing products to bring in, do you do it yourself, or do you have like a team, and how do you guys kind of decide, you know, whether this flavor is better or this flavor is better?
So we do have a team, right? We typically, everyone in the team has some sort of training to make e-juice themselves.
Oh, okay.
So the sales team, because we're a small business, we kind of have to wear a lot of hats.
I see, okay.
So we have sales teams, and the sales teams also on their off time, when they're not feeling like they're want to talk to clients, they kind of make their own e-juice, right? They kind of do their own thing. So it's a lot of freedom in that sense. Yeah. But as soon as somebody comes up with an e-juice recipe that they think is really good, they kind of pitch it to the rest of us. We give it a go. And if everyone really likes it, then we start that process to produce a better and better sample.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Once we get to the final sample, something that we think is it's really good, we try to adjust it, but you know it just turned out worse, so we went to the original.
Okay.
Then we produce a small batch, usually 30 bottles. With Divine, and we send those out to clients.
Okay, so you kind of send like the samples to see if other people like them as well.
Exactly. So we send out, I think it's a specific group of clients, right? So there's a couple in Alberta, a couple in Saskatchewan, a lot in Ontario, right? And then 2 or 3 in Quebec. Okay. So we send them out to everyone there. And we get their feedback after a couple of weeks.
I see. Okay.
If they enjoy it, right? That's something that we
good news for you, exactly. No, speaking of other provinces, BC has recently just changed a lot of their regulations and everything like that. Do you supply to BC as well?
We supply different products to BC. Okay. Right? So certain products like Z-Pods, I'd say, right? They're 20 milligrams. Right? That's something that we.
Because I was gonna say on that, because you have to, they can't go over 20 milligrams now, right?
Yeah, they can't. There's certain shops that try to break the rules, right? But then as a distributor, we have to stop them.
Exactly. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the only thing that we are shipping out to BC right now is this 20 milligrams.
Okay. For sure.
So e-liquid, honestly, like e-liquid in BC is not the hottest thing right now.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah. It's mainly just like a lot of people are craving like disposables.
And see, and I was gonna talk about it anyways. We can go on it now. Disposables are like the hot new thing in the vaping game right now. And it seems like it's taking a turn, right? Like it was box mods and everything. It was making your own coils, and then it switched over to Saltnik. You got all the smaller compact devices, and now we're going to disposables. So do you think the game is going to forever change in that disposable range, or do you think there's a chance eventually we're going to start going back in that circle?
Honestly, there's a couple different things, right? So like if you look at the BC regulation, I think BC is one of them where you're looking at they're implementing obviously 20 milligram limit. I think Nova Scotia, even for flavorless, they're implementing a 20 milligram.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, wait. I think it's a different province. I forgot. I think Prince Edward Island, perhaps.
Okay.
Or New Brunswick. I can't necessarily remember that, but whatever it is, there's a second province that's putting in a 20 milligram restriction.
Oh, okay.
And essentially, that's one thing that we're worried about, right? Just because if you're putting in a 20 milligram restriction, right, most people aren't going to be vaping 20 milligram salts.
100%.
They'd rather go to an RDA, right? And then they'd vape like 6 milligram or 12 milligrams.
I see, to get that better throw hit, right?
You get a better throw hit, you get better flavor, things last longer.
100%,
right? But the one thing that I would probably say is that, again, the federal regulations that are coming out, I think in a couple months that they're going to start reading it, is the child safety locking thing on the tanks, right? So that's something that's going to be a little bit worrisome, just because an RDA is not...
it's not childproof.
You can't childproof it, right?
100%,
but then, like, an RDA at the end of the day is just, a positive and negative lead, right? Like how do you define what an RDA is or what a vaping device is, right? When that's just literally just a wire.
Yeah, it's a wire connected to two leads, and then you got the battery.
Exactly. I mean, if they define vaping in that sense, I mean, every electronic is just banned, right?
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
So
I never even thought of that.
I think it's a really broad system. I think at one point the government's going to realize that they really can't ban something that's really that general.
Yeah.
And vaping industry, like 99% of the stuff, as you know, it comes from China.
100%, yeah.
And majority of the Chinese companies that are working with like disposables or something along those lines, they're still trying to make money, right?
Yeah.
And they will openly advertise something that is still vaping, but they won't label it as such, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, for example, I don't know if you've seen the Facebook adverts that have like you inhale it. It's like an e-cig. But you inhale it, but it's to calm your mind or something.
Okay, yeah, they'll have like the CBD ones, or they'll have like the Sleep Easy ones, or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's not advertised as an e-cig.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a different realm of products.
Yeah.
Which is fine to advertise, and you can sell openly, right?
It essentially is, in effect.
I mean,
e-cig, right?
Exactly. I think a lot of consumers, or like a lot of manufacturers, I should say, would probably end up just removing any sort of nicotine reference to their products to have like a general product to sell.
I see. Okay.
And then at the end of the day, what the end user decides to do with it is their choice.
Yeah, 100%. Now, talking about underage vaping, it is a very big kind of crisis in our industry at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd heard from a couple places down in London that they're selling to underage, and the distributors were kind of threatening to pull away from them.
Yeah.
Now, is that something that is necessary to do as a distributor, or is that just kind of like, obviously it's a good thing to do if you know someone's selling, but is it like I want to say like a law or regulation that you have to pull away from that store, or?
There's no regulation that says as such.
Okay.
There is one piece of regulation that says that if a store has been convicted of selling to a minor, right? I think 3 or more times.
Okay.
Then they can't import or they can't purchase products to that location.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Luckily, we've never had to face a store that's had any sort of convictions. Right?
Okay.
We've dealt with some shops that have had some prior issues.
Yeah.
But ownership changes have happened, right? And they've just got better. So
yeah.
I think there was a period in time, especially like even now, right, where underage vaping is prevalent, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I think it's just the world that we live in, to be honest with you. Just because, like, a business owner that opens up a shop, right, they're going to want to either pay rent, pay their employees, right? And I'm not trying to justify their actions.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to justify what their thought process is.
No, 100%. Yeah.
So, as wrong as it is, I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon
until you can get a control over it, which you can't, right? Because it's up, like you said, it's up to the business owner, right?
It's up to the business owner.
Whether he's going to do his due diligence and check IDs constantly, or right.
Exactly. And it's tough because sometimes business owners are not there all the time, right?
Exactly. And
so,
then you got your employees who maybe have his 18-year-old buddy, right? He'll come in, it's okay then, and then his buddies start coming in, and then.
Exactly.
You're in this domino effect, yeah.
Exactly. So it's a little bit more difficult in that sense.
Yeah.
But as a distributor, we don't have to pull out of anything.
Okay.
Unless we want to.
I
Right?
see. Okay.
So it's up to us.
Yeah.
And so far, we've never had to really deal with any issues like that.
And that's good. That's good. Honestly, right?
It's been good, yeah.
Now, talking about regulations and everything, I know. For vape stores, there's a regulation you can get like a specialty vape store where you can allow people to try juices and stuff like that. Is there any like specific things that you guys as a distributor have to have? Like any licenses or stuff like that?
So we don't necessarily need any specific licenses, although we do need to register in the city as a vaping distributor. So it's very similar to like a tobacco.
Oh, okay.
It depends on municipality though.
Okay.
Right? So say for example Guelph, right? If we were operating in Guelph, we wouldn't need to do that.
Oh, okay.
But Waterloo region, the tobacco enforcement officers, we try to have a very good relationship with them, right? So we openly told them like this is where we are. We're not selling to consumers, right?
Yeah.
But we still need to put up the signs that say no vaping, no e-cigs,
100%,
no smoking, 19 only, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
Just because the product that's inside the building is still age restricted.
That's fair, right? Yeah, so you still have to have all the
exactly.
all the
So even though it's not a publicly accessible building, it's still something that for example, like somebody, an employee brings in their child, right?
Oh, okay.
It's something that we have to kind of consider. Obviously, we're not going to turn them away, right? But like
but you still have to keep your end.
Exactly.
Safe, right? Yeah.
Or for example, one of our clients comes in just to kind of see our facility.
Yeah.
And he brings in his child. That's the concern, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of where the gray line is.
100%. Yeah.
But yeah, no, we just have to kind of just let the city know that, hey, listen, we're operating here.
Okay, for sure. Oh, right. So when you were first opening up your distribution center or your business, was there any like really hard challenges you had to face, and how did you overcome them?
Honestly, I think as a business owner, right, there's challenges like every day, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of like the cliche thing that you would say to anybody, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's true, right? Because when you were starting off, right? When we were starting off, actually, we spent our OSAP money, so we pooled together some of our OSAP money in order to make our first order. Right?
Okay, yeah.
So our stress was like, can we actually sell enough stuff
to make your money?
To make our money back. And then we did, thankfully.
Okay, yeah.
So we sold enough, and then by the time we needed to reorder, right, we used some of the profits to kind of build up the business.
I see, okay, yeah.
So we never took any money out. We didn't take any money out for about 2 years of the business, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we were working additional jobs, we were working, different things. So
and just to keep yourself afloat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We still had OSAP payments. We were still going to school at the time.
I see, okay.
And I suppose at the time it was a really good side hustle.
I see, okay.
Just because it wasn't a full-time gig. It was just like when an order comes in, we just kind of go to our garage at the time, pick up the products and drop it off.
I see,
right?
okay, yeah.
And then that's kind of the thing. And on our off time, we would contact vape shops and be like, hey, listen, we have this product. Would you like some samples?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we send samples pretty much in the evening. Before we go to school, we go to Canada Post and drop them off.
Okay, right? so you're doing the hard manual labor.
Yeah, it was really difficult, right? You had to time management was really important, right? Other things like, just product management, inventory management. When you're working in like a nice warehouse, it's really easy to manage inventory, right? But when you're working in, a garage, and you have boxes on boxes on boxes, and you're like, what's underneath, right? I don't want to lift all the boxes, but I got to figure out what's underneath there.
No, yeah.
It's really difficult.
100%,
right?
yeah.
So there's definitely challenges, even now, right? Like, I suppose it's a blessing in one sense that we are getting clients, but the one issue is, I shouldn't say it's an issue, but one issue is that clients usually purchase in bulk. Right, as you know, right? Like some vape shops, they have the capacity to purchase maybe a couple bottles or a couple boxes of disposables or a couple boxes of Z-Pods. And then other chains, they purchase hundreds, right?
Exactly, and you have to keep the quantities in stock.
You have to keep the quantities in stock. You have to anticipate like when they're gonna order.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. And certain times, right, like you place a call or you call a client and then they order that same day and you don't expect that. Right? So you're kind of low on stock for your other clients that have been with you for a long time, right?
I see, and you get that kind of mix up between people. And it even happens at the vape store as well, right? You get, your one regular customer, you extra order for him, you make sure you have enough, and then buddy comes in and buys all your stock of it, and then you have nothing, right?
Exactly. And we try to keep a reserve stock of everything, right? Just to make sure if somebody really needs something, we do have something in stock for them.
I see. Okay.
But then other people like if we have multiple orders in a day, we have to use that reserve stock, right?
I see. Yeah.
No point in putting in a back order if you have it on the shelf.
I mean, that's right. And then it makes the customer happy, right? The end client's happy. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like a constant anxiety trip.
Yeah,
right?
no, 100%.
Throughout the month, to be honest with you, it is.
It seems like it's a lot of stress. Yeah.
It keeps you awake at night sometimes.
Oh yeah. Right. So now, in terms of like the whole distribution system, like delivery system and everything like that, how hard would you say it was setting that up for you? Like, do you guys use like Canada Post, or I know you said you were driving yourself, right?
Yeah. So for local deliveries, right? So like we are in Kitchener-Waterloo. and like this shop is in Kitchener,
yeah,
it's usually on the route to some of our other clients.
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So if we have a pretty steady, I suppose, flow of orders, right,
Yeah.
that are pretty regular.
Okay. Yeah.
So we typically kind of have a schedule to kind of keep up.
Okay.
For example, like once a week at least, we come through Cambridge, we come
Yeah.
through Kitchener, we come through all these places.
I see.
And we kind of drop off the orders.
Yeah.
Not because we don't have any other options, but because we prefer to kind of talk to the employees or talk to the client himself.
Yeah.
It makes it more personal.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, but
and then you can kind of see like what flavors are running and stuff like that, you know.
exactly.
Just get like a general idea. That's all. Yeah, it's a nice little touch. Yeah.
Exactly. But if we don't have time, we do use a local delivery service.
Okay.
Which is like Onward Express.
Okay.
And then if we don't have time for that, or they aren't able to deliver to a certain area,
yeah.
we have Campar and Pure Later services.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna be everything for today, guys. I thank you for coming in. I really do appreciate it. You're the first person we're doing this with, and I really appreciate it.
I'm honored to be your first guest. Thank you.
Now, if you guys like this video and this podcast, please leave a comment in the section below, and we're gonna try to get some more people in, and eventually, hopefully, you'll get you back in as well, and we can do another interview.
Awesome. Perfect.
So see you guys later.
Thank you, guys.